today's lesson from the grammar series by Biography, we will be learning all about simple sentences. Teachers, you will want to press pause when you see this icon appear in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. Students, when you see that icon, that will be your cue to know that it is time to have a discussion with your teacher or to copy information into your interactive flat book. What do you notice about the sentences that are listed here? What is the same about all 4 sentences? Did you notice that all 4 sentences only have a noun and a verb? They only have 2 words, but they're still sentences. These are the most basic type of simple sentence. Not all simple sentences only have 2 words. We can create longer simple sentences. Simple sentences are also called independent clauses. All that means is they're complete thoughts that can stand alone. Just like being independent means that you can be on your own, these sentences have ideas that are complete all by themselves. All independent clauses have at least one subject and one predicate. Let's look closely at what these terms mean. The subject is who or what the sentence is all about. You can often ask these questions about the sentence to find what the subject is in the sentence. The predicate says something about what the subject is or what it is doing. Once you find the subject, you can often ask these questions to figure out what the predicate in the sentence is. We're going to look at some very basic sentences to see how to ask these questions. The bear walked. What is the sentence about? It's about the bear. And the bear did what? He walked. Let's look at one more very quickly. Harrison is tall. Who is this sentence all about? It's about Harrison. Well, what about him? He is tall. You can look at the subject in 2 different ways. One way is looking at it as a simple subject. This is going to be just the main noun or pronoun without any of the other words that go with it. The complete subject is the simple subject plus all of the words that modify the subject. These types of words are usually adjectives, articles, sometimes prepositions too. Let's look at some sentences together and identify the complete subjects and simple subjects. In this first sentence, the fat green frog ate a fly. The fat green frog is the complete subject. It's what the sentence is all about. The fat green describes the frog. Frog is the main noun that this sentence is all about. So the simple subject is frog. Let's look at the second sentence. My first math test was not easy. The complete subject would be my first math test, because that's what this sentence is all about. Test is our simple subject because it's the noun in the complete subject. Christine's hair was a tangled mess. Now don't let this one trick you. Christine is not what this sentence is all about. It is her hair. Christine's is a possessive noun that modifies hair. The complete subject is Christine's hair, but the simple subject is hair. Just like there are simple and complete subjects, there are also simple and complete predicates. A simple predicate is just the verb in the predicate. The complete predicate is everything else that's not in the complete subject. Let's look at a few more sentences and find the predicates in these. Remember, before we can find the predicate, we need to find the subject first. So let's look at this first sentence. Robert made eggs for breakfast. Who or what is this sentence all about? It's about Robert, not the eggs. Because now we want to ask a question. What did Robert do? He made eggs for breakfast. The verb in our sentence is made. Made eggs for breakfast tells what Robert did. We can't ask, what about the eggs? Or what did the eggs do? And find an answer. So that helps us know that Robert is our subject, made eggs for breakfast is our predicate. The ocean waves crashed on the shore. What is this sentence all about? It's about the waves, the ocean waves. And what did the waves do? They crashed on the shore. The simple predicate is crashed because it's the verb of the sentence. On the shore is a prepositional phrase that tells where they crashed. It's part of our complete predicate. Last one. Snakes do not eat plants. What is this sentence all about? That's right, snakes. And what did the snakes do? Oh, it's actually what they do not do. They do not eat plants. Now you'll notice that there are two simple predicates circled in this sentence, do and eat. Do is a helping verb. Not is an adverb. It is not a verb. So we will not circle that as part of our simple predicate. Do and eat are the verbs. Not is an adverb modifying do. Remember when we said that independent clauses have at least one subject and one predicate? Simple sentences, or independent clauses, can actually have more than one subject and more than one predicate. Let's look at what these are called. When we use the word compound in grammar, we mean that there are at least two words, phrases, or clauses that are working together. Let's look at an example. Marie and Jonah watch TV. Now, we could have two separate sentences here. We could say, Marie watched TV, Jonah watched TV. Those would both be independent clauses. But why not combine those two subjects to make a compound subject? It's still a simple sentence, but it has a compound subject. Marie and Jonah is our compound subject. Marie and Jonah were both watching TV, so we can combine it into one simple sentence. Marie and Jonah watched TV. Just like subjects, we can have compound predicates too. Instead of saying, Jeffrey dribbled, Jeffrey scored, in two separate independent clauses, we can create a simple sentence with a compound predicate. Jeffrey dribbled and scored. Simple sentences can even have compound subjects and compound predicates. We could actually have 4 separate independent clauses with this one sentence that you see on the screen. We could say, Sean sang, Sean danced. Ruby sang, Ruby danced. Those would all be independent clauses, and they would be very basic, simple sentences with only 2 words. But we can make a simple sentence with a compound subject and a compound predicate by combining all of the subjects and all of the predicates into one sentence. Sean and Ruby sang and danced. Now we have one simple sentence with a compound subject and a compound predicate. Time to notice again. What do you notice about these 4 sentences on the screen? What's the same? Did you notice that none of the 4 is a complete sentence? Jimmy and Justin's song. What about Jimmy and Justin's song? Burns brightly all night. Well, what burns brightly all night? Laughed so hard. Who laughed so hard? The picture on the wall. What about the picture on the wall? What was it? What did it do? What did it look like? We call these fragments. Fragments are not complete sentences. Fragments are missing a subject or a predicate. Let's correct those 4 fragments. On the very last page of your interactive flat book, you have these sentences with the blanks. Fill in the blanks to complete the sentence and decide what you filled in. Is it a subject or a predicate that was missing? When you corrected the fragments to make a complete sentence, you had to identify what was there and determine what was missing to be able to make it a complete sentence. Let's look at each sentence together and figure out what was missing. Jimmy and Justin's song blank. Well, Jimmy and Justin's song doesn't have a verb with it, so that must be a subject. That means we're missing a predicate. So when you filled in that blank, you should have filled in a verb and possibly some other modifiers to go along with the verb to make a complete predicate. Let's look at the second sentence. Something burns brightly all night. Well, night is a noun, but that can't be what the sentence is all about because the night doesn't burn, and burn is my verb. Burns brightly all night. What burns brightly all night? Oh, that must mean I'm missing a subject. So you should have filled in on that blank a subject, possibly with some modifiers to help describe that noun that is burning brightly all night. Let's look at the next one. Laughed so hard. Well, this one's an easy one, isn't it? Laughed is a verb. Laughed so hard is a predicate. So that means we're missing a subject. Who laughed so hard? We don't know. You should have filled in a subject that tells us who laughed so hard. The picture on the wall. Well, the picture is a simple subject, and the picture on the wall would be a complete subject. On the wall is my prepositional phrase. I don't see any verbs here either, so that must mean we're missing our predicate. You should have told what the picture on the wall is doing, or possibly tell more about it, maybe what it looks like. So you're missing the predicate. Let's practice. Your teacher has given you a red subject card and a blue predicate card. For each of the next 5 sentences that we look at together, I want you to hold up your red subject card if the underlined phrase in the sentence is a subject, and your blue predicate card if the underlined phrase in the sentence is a predicate. I also want you to hold up on your other hand either a 1 or a 2 to tell if we have a simple or a compound subject or predicate in that underlined phrase. You'll catch on. Let's do the first one. The slippery squid slithered between the rocks. Look at those underlined words. Identify the underlined words by holding up your card, either red for subject or blue for predicate. Now with your other hand, I want you to hold up one finger if you think it only has a simple subject or simple predicate, and two fingers if there is a compound subject or compound predicate in that underlined phrase. Did you say it was a subject? It is. And there's only one noun. So there is a simple subject. You should just be holding up one finger with your other hand. Let's look at why. The slippery squid slithered between the rocks. The slippery squid is our subject. It tells what the sentence is about. There's only one noun here, squid. It's a simple subject. The is an article. Slippery is an adjective. These are two words that modify squid to give us more information about it. The slippery squid is the complete subject, so you should be holding up your red subject card, and you should be holding up one finger because there's only one simple subject, and that is squid. Joanne washed and dried the dishes. Look at the underlined phrase. If you believe it's a subject, hold up your red subject card. If you believe it's a predicate, hold up your blue predicate card. Don't forget on your other hand to hold up one finger if it has a simple subject or predicate in the underlined phrase, or two fingers if it has a compound subject or predicate in the underlined phrase. Did you hold up your blue predicate card? If you did, then you are correct. And it's a compound predicate, so you should be holding up two fingers with your other hand. Let's look at why. We know that Joanne is the subject. She is who the sentence is all about. What did Joanne do? She washed. But she didn't just wash, she also dried the dishes. So washed and dried are our two simple predicates, which actually makes it a compound predicate, washed and dried. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches are my favorite. Look at that underlined phrase. Hold up your red subject card if you believe the underlined phrase is the subject, and your blue predicate card if you believe the underlined phrase is a predicate. And don't forget to hold up your other hand with a 1 or a 2 for simple or compound in the underlined phrase. Did you say it was a predicate? Then you were correct. And it's just a simple predicate, so you should only be holding up one finger. The sentence is all about peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And the predicate tells us more about those sandwiches. They are my favorite. Are is our linking verb here. It is the only verb, the simple predicate in our sentence. Let's look at the fourth sentence. Rain and snow are types of precipitation. Look at the underlined phrase. If you think it's a subject, hold up your red subject card. And if it's a predicate, hold up your blue predicate card. Don't forget to hold up on your other hand either 1 or 2 fingers to show if it's a simple or compound subject or predicate in that underlined phrase. Did you say subject? You are correct. And if you were holding up 2 fingers to show that it is a compound subject, then you were also correct. Rain and snow is our complete subject. Rain, snow are the 2 nouns that are in our complete subject. These 2 nouns are our compound subject, because they are both types of precipitation. Let's look at the very last sentence. That sneaky dog dug a hole and buried my shoe. Look at the underlined phrase. Is it a subject or a predicate? Hold up your red subject card or your blue predicate card to show which one you believe it is. Don't forget to hold up one finger or two fingers to show if it has a simple or a compound subject or predicate in that underlined phrase. You should be holding up your blue predicate card and also two fingers because there is a compound predicate in this sentence. That sneaky dog dug and buried. He did two things, two verbs. That means we have a compound predicate in this simple sentence. The complete predicate is dug a hole and buried my shoe. Let's review. Remember that simple sentences are also called independent clauses, and they have at least one subject and one predicate. If they're missing either one, that's a fragment, and it's not a complete sentence. Remember that the subject of the sentence tells us who or what the sentence is about, and the predicate in the sentence tells us more about the subject or what they did. Now it's your turn. Take all of the information that you've learned from this lesson and apply it in your writing. That means when you're writing, make sure that you don't have any fragments. You want complete sentences with subjects and predicates. Also work on revising some of those basic, simple sentences. See if you can combine some of those sentences to create compound subjects and compound predicates.